but I have mixed feelings about the bro news industrial complex. Ooh, we're actually live now. Never mind. Anyway, all right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to give folks a little bit of time to start watching. If at any point during this live you have questions for myself or Ivy, put them in the comment section. We're going to have some WREN folks putting in some resources in the comment box, so make sure you watch out for that. So far, I see we have 7 folks watching. Hello, everyone. And I think I can continue to talk for maybe 30 more seconds before we get going for real and give folks some time to join us. How am I doing? Is my
I think
my
you're doing,
little
yeah,
pre-show song and dance?
It's awesome.
And it's working clearly because there are now 8 people watching.
There we go.
They just need a little time. Okay, 12:01. I think we can get cracking. So, hi everyone. Welcome to another Facebook Live from WREN, the Women's Rights and Empowerment Network. My name is Courtney Thomas and my pronouns are she and her. WREN is a nonprofit with a mission to build a movement to advance the health, economic well-being, and rights of women, girls, and their families here in South Carolina. Today, I am joined by Ivy Hill. Ivy, will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, totally. So, hey y'all, my name's Ivy Hill. I use they, them pronouns. I serve as the executive director of Genderbenders. We're a nonprofit that serves trans folks in the upstate of South Carolina and also across the Southeast.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Ivy. So it is so good to speak with you any day, but particularly today, because today is International Women's Day, and that is a perfect way to kind of kick off this conversation because one, trans women are women, but also because a lot of the struggles and fights that queer folks have to deal with also intersect with the women's rights movement. And I think we'd be remiss by trying to draw any lines or divisions between these two movements because you can be both queer and a woman, and it's important for folks to understand those intersections. But for those of you who might understand a little bit of the relationship between WREN and gender benders, we are talking under, in the aftermath of a hearing about H 3477, the so-called Save Women's Sports Act, which is a anti-trans youth bill. During that hearing, there was a question posed by a testifier, and this is not, to put anyone on blast or anything, but this person asked, "Where are the feminists?" And I think that is a good place to start this discussion because I think a lot of the people who would seek to discriminate against queer and trans folks use the guise of feminism or women's rights or girl power to outright abuse folks. And that's not something that we're not cool with that at WREN, just to put it plainly, right? So where are the feminists? We're right here, and we are in support of our queer and trans siblings. And I think that's that on that. Ivy, can you tell us a little bit about the bill?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that, Courtney. I think that that's like really important stuff, and especially stuff that people need to hear with a lot of the anti-trans rhetoric that we were hearing from testifiers. So H 3477 is the anti-trans youth athlete bill that would stop specifically trans girls from participating in sports, both in public and private schools, in middle school and high school across the state. So we had a first hearing, and then they didn't vote after the first hearing. That was 2 weeks ago now. And then we had a second hearing last week. We had really great turnout from coalition members and folks who support trans youth, which was amazing. But it did pass subcommittee, so it was in the special laws subcommittee, and it passed with a vote of 3-1. So now it moves on to the full committee. And then if there's time, if they make that vote before the crossover days, then it'll move on to the Senate and we'll see what happens next. But that's sort of where things are right now legislatively. And there's a coalition called South Carolina United for Justice and Equality. If anybody wants to plug in to work there, there's a lot of various ways that we're doing advocacy work to try to stop this from passing.
That's great. Thank you so much for that info, Ivy. And we'll make sure to put a link to the coalition's information in the comment section if folks want to follow that. So if for the people who have just joined us, this is a conversation between myself and Ivy Hill from Gender Benders, and they are giving their time to basically talk about the issue around the anti-trans bill in the State House, but also the intersections between the women's rights movement and queer organizing. So I want to say hello to some folks in the comment section. Hello, Francis, one of our amazing board members. And there's a comment from Ashley in response to the question, where are the feminists? And she said, we are right here opposing that harmful legislation that will hurt women and gender expansive people. So thank you, Ashley, for that. For the folks who are watching, I encourage you to share this video, tag WREN, tag Gender Benders, and some other folks that you think need to hear this information. Something that we've kind of talked a lot about internally at WREN is how to educate folks in a way that allows space for education, but also honors the personhood and the dignity of people within our network. So this is just one of many opportunities that folks will have to hear plainly that we support our queer and trans siblings, but also that if you need resources to learn, we can find you some resources. And part of that work is not just listening to queer folks, but it's doing your own education. So that means doing a little reading, maybe watching some videos, some podcasts, or Facebook Lives. So you have so many resources available to you, and I hope everyone will take advantage of that. So Ivy, can you tell us a little bit about how people can support the queer and trans youth in their communities and in their lives?
Yeah, there are a couple of organizations that come to mind who have been amazing coalition partners and are doing really incredible work every day to serve trans and queer youth. Obviously, I work with Gender Benders. Of course, we would love your support. But just to be really straight up, we do some youth work, but we're not like youth centric. But some that are, there's the Uplift Outreach Center, which is based in Spartanburg. And they have a tween group, a teen group, and a young adult group, and lots of trans representation there. So that's an awesome grassroots organization that could really benefit from your support. Another one that comes to the top of my mind is We Are Family. They're a Charleston-based organization, and they're also doing really incredible work every day to serve trans and queer youth in the Lowcountry. And I guess one of the good things about like that there is anything good about the pandemic, but one of the good things is that we have been able to connect more virtually like this. So even if you have youth who aren't necessarily in Charleston or in Spartanburg, there's a lot of virtual events and ways that those youth can get plugged in with that support. There's also the Harriet Hancock Center in Columbia, and I believe that they have a youth group. They definitely have done some of that work in the past, but I think that that is also in their program area. So that's probably the top three that come to my mind, other than Gender Benders, of course.
Awesome, thank you. And for those of you who have just tuned in, again, I'm with Ivy Hill, and we're talking about 3477 and the ways that you can support queer and trans youth in your life. I see that we have some more folks that have joined. I'm going to encourage those folks once again to share this video and tag us and tag anyone else who needs to hear this information. Just to wrap up, this is not something that we talked about before we turned on the camera. It just came to me. So Ivy, let me know. But what are some of the things that you have heard in, I guess, in opposition to the idea that, you know, feminists or the women's rights movement should be like supporting queer and trans folks? From what I've heard, it's been a lot of division, and that is based on the supposition that if one group gets something or if one group makes a win, all the other marginalized folks will have to like wait in line or something, which is ridiculous. But I think it's part of a scarcity politic that is deeply, deeply rooted in white supremacy. And I mean, they're out to get all of us, is what I'm saying. So that's just one thing that I've heard about, you know, that scarcity and like, what about XYZ? What have you heard?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that you really hit the nail on the head when we talk about like the root of what the problem is with a lot of that stuff. And yeah, that you exactly, they're coming for all of us. So we're a lot stronger when we work together. I mean, I guess some of the specific things that I hear are very like body centric, about like people's identities not being real and trans women not really being women, and just a lot of like really honestly violent stuff that folks have said, about trans women that has been hurtful. So we've also been holding aftercare spaces following WREN's leadership and learning more about how to be more trauma informed in our advocacy efforts, which I think has been really powerful for folks, to be able to be surrounded by community when you're hearing so much of that like anti-trans body-centric rhetoric, that says that trans women aren't women when we know that that is not true.
And we heard a lot of that in the hearing from both community leaders and legislators. So I am so thankful for folks who were able to correct the record in real time and stop the misgendering and violence that was happening in the hearing. So I think that is a lesson for everyone. So when you see something happening, intervene, because you can, like, there can be a learning moment at any point. So anyway, it's it's really interesting to me to see the ways that violence presents itself, even you know, with misgendering, because something to me as simple as using someone's pronouns can mean a lot when it goes to not just including people in in certain spaces, but like honoring people's lives and um, who they tell you they are. We do have some questions from the comment section. Okay. Okay, this one's from Anne. How do you think we can continue to build more solidarity between feminists and LGBTQ plus advocates? We have been working together more effectively than ever to respond to threats, but what more can we do proactively to create a positive vision for all people in our state?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I feel like it's exactly more stuff like this, showing up for each other, the way that the coalition that's really focused on LGBT stuff showed up around the fight for S1, and abortion access, and the way that folks like WREN have showed up, for H3477 to help us try to defeat that bill and support trans youth, and just having more conversations and working together more. I do think that. Really across the state, I've never seen this level of collaboration, before. That the way that folks have been working together has been, even in the face of legislation that has been horrific, and hearing horrific things at hearings, and just like what an uphill battle we have to beat a lot of this stuff. But the way that folks are coming together and supporting each other, and starting to really work around those intersections more, I have I've been doing work like this in South Carolina between 15 and 20 years. I have never seen this kind of collaborative leadership before. So I feel super encouraged by that and feel like we're in the process of building a really solid foundation to keep growing and building that together.
That is awesome. And once again, we're going to encourage folks to share this video. A final question to wrap us up, Ivy, from the comment section. I've heard from some folks, this is from Ashley, by the way. I've heard from some folks that they are new to understanding pronouns and using them. Does Gender Benders have resources that can help folks in learning pronouns and stop misgendering people?
Yes, we do. We have a one pager just specifically about pronouns that we can share with y'all. It's actually put out by my other job at the Campaign for Southern Equality, but I still made it. It was, but yeah, so we have that we can share with y'all, and I'm sure we can turn that into a graphic if we wanted to push that around on social media. Give me a few days, but I can at least send the one pager over. So there's that. And then there's a section with information about pronouns on the South Carolina United for Justice and Equality website. So you can also go there to find more information. And we're keeping that pretty up to date with where stuff is at with the legislation and sharing resources on there too.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that is all for my questions and stuff from the comment section. Is there anything you want to leave folks with?
I guess I would just say if there are any trans youth who are tuning in, you're not alone. I know that like these are scary times. I know that like a lot of folks are feeling really attacked. You are being attacked. Your anger is real and valid, but you don't have to do this alone. You are real and valid and important, and leaders in this movement. So yeah, just know that you're not alone and reach out if you need support.
Awesome. Well, that is where we'll leave it. Thank you so much for joining us, Ivy. I hope everyone will again share this video and join us again when we go live next time. Bye, y'all.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ivy.